All right, hello again, YouTube. Wanted to make a follow-up video on one of my favorite builds, which is the Boltcaster, and you guys definitely really like this one too. So I wanted to go over some like the upgrades that I've made, as well as like some discoveries of like why this build is so good, as well as like what not to use because potentially just doesn't help the scale into the Boltcaster. So let's dive right in. All right, so first things first, we're going to take a look at some of the gear changes that I made, and then we're going to dive into next the attributes, and finally the weapon perks that I've been running. So definitely some upgrades that I've been looking to make on this build is picking up lightning harnessing on every single piece, right? You can get more lightning damage too if you use the lightning rune glass on all your gems. I haven't invested that into this build, but I've definitely made a lot of upgrades that include lightning harnessing now on the gear, right? So this is a heavy helmet. Got 2% lightning harnessing and health, so that's pretty good. Featherweight, this definitely allows us to run 2 heavy pieces, but I put health on it just so I can generically use it on all builds, not lightning harnessing. Here's some gloves that I recently got. You know, Enchanted Ward, S tier perk, refreshing, pretty good too, with lightning harnessing. Some legs that I've got with lightning harnessing on them and strike conditioning health. I will say I do miss my like refreshing spin or whatever that gets me out of CC for my greatsword. But yeah, definitely lightning harnessing is the way to go if you want damage on your boltcaster. And then finally, got some light boots. These are gonna have lightning harnessing again, and then slash conditioning and health. And I actually put a moonstone in here too because I definitely have a little bit lackluster melee resistance on this build, right? Boltcaster, nothing's changed here. I'm using Keenly Jagged as my perk that I picked. Same old greatsword too, right? I really love this thing. It's Dex. It's got Keen, Trenchant Strikes, and Keenly Jagged, man. Yeah, definitely some good recommendations though in the comments of other ones to use if you want to like farm a named one. All right, amulet. Still using the same amulet. I think Divine and Health here are a must-have, and then you're going to want a protection. I'm choosing Thrust Protection here because I'm mostly fighting bows. Same old ring, Azoth Crystal Ring. Rolled this out of the kiln. Pretty good. And then I actually switched back to using Endless Thirst, specifically in PvP because I just really like the Empowering and Fortifying Toast, as well as just the increased heal, or increased strength of my healing consumable. So my health pot heals for like 5-6k, which is pretty helpful. So that's another change that I made, is rocking that, because I really wanted to rock a artifact in my jewelry, right? But I wasn't using Ankh. And Endless Thirst is another good choice. I put Refreshing Toast here if anyone is curious as far as the upgrade perk. All right, next thing we're going to dive into is the attributes, right? So a lot of people in the comments of my last video were saying stuff like, hey, the 100 int perk and the 150 int perk that claim to do, you know, light and heavy elemental attacks and elemental damage don't work with the Boltcaster. And at first I was like, nah, that can't be, right? It's all elemental damage. That doesn't make sense. But I did go and kind of do some testing and stuff like that. And it does kind of appear that way, right? So we're really just doing the 50 int to get the damage increase to targets inflicted by damage over time. Our Boltcaster has Keenly Jagged, as well as our greatsword and stuff, right? So we're constantly making people bleed. So that's going to be giving us some damage there. And then strength, right? A lot of people are saying, you know, don't even bother with the 50 strength, just go 25 or something like that, or even drop it all together. But to be honest, I really like this. Just specifically for the greatsword, and I'm confident that my heavy attack damage is scaling with the greatsword here, and I'm doing tons of heavy attacks with my greatsword. Another recommendation, you know, with 350 dex, pretty standard, just max out on that. Another recommendation that I think I'm going to start making now is, you know, minimum 150 con on your PvP builds. I think that reduced crit damage taken is huge. And if you got any extra points, right, just dump the rest into con. You are going to be getting in there as a little bit of a melee with your greatsword, so it's good to have more con for that. All right, weapon masteries. Bow. I've kind of been playing around with this, and I've actually dropped poison shot and explosive shot in favor of penetrating shot, evade shot, and then rain of arrows. Rain of arrows is still bugged at the time of this video, right, which is really unfortunate. It's going to animation cancel constantly on you. That's after you dodge, but I really like this evade shot for kind of kiting and keeping people at a distance. Pretty standard perks here too. Archer speed, I've been kind of rocking that a little bit more too, along with the dodge and weave. I just need more speed, I'll be honest. Mark is going to be another thing that helps deal more damage to foes suffering from a bleed. And then evasive tactics, right? You're constantly dodging this build. Make sure you're throwing in a dodge if you're at full stamina if you can to take advantage of that 50% damage. Then pen shot. I actually really like this for the PvP, like stacked groups or whatever, right? So just try and get multiple pen shots in there. Still using aim true, arrow range. I really like going for those long range heavy attack snipes and OPR and stuff. And then yeah, those are my other perks. Oh, you guys couldn't see those. Let me hide and yeah, take a look real quick at those two bottom perks, the ones that I'm running there. And then let's take a look at what's the other weapon we're using. We're using greatsword. Okay, so like previously I kind of recommended going all offensive, but I'll be honest, to stay alive, I have been liking this calamity counter skill. One, because it triggers certain things like wary posture, right? Where you get fortify after gaining defiant stance. So if you're in the shit, right, just throw on a calamity counter. It kind of works like a riposte or something like that, right? Where you block some attacks for a couple seconds. Then it does some damage, right? It also can inflict a bleed. And yeah, if you're an onslaught chance, you're gonna get some crit, or the counterattack gains some crit. Yeah, just going a little bit into this defensive side just to get some survivability here. And then the two skills that I definitely like rocking in PvP are going to be Skyward Slash and Relentless Rush. I really like both those. Pretty standard perks over here too, going all the way down to the Onslaught. All right, I think that is it as far as the upgrades made to this build. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe on this video, and I'm just going to play a couple of clips from like OPR and stuff that I've collected over the past few days. God, that was such a dirty fucking 4-shot. Something else I forgot to mention that I learned recently. So, kind of one of the reasons why the Boltcaster is so good is because, especially in PvP, right? Is because when they made the reduction in damage to bows that is applied in PvP like OPR, it actually only applies to thrust damage coming from bows, right? So therefore, the Boltcaster pretty much completely bypasses that restriction and basically deals 14% more damage than a normal bow would, or even 7% more than one that's half converted to an elemental. So that exists currently in the game. Don't know how long it will continue like that. But yeah, that was a bug that's been reported and kind of going across YouTube.